Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be drawing something completely different from what you typically have seen me do. This is a style that I've never been able to master, no matter how hard I tried or what medium I tried to do it with. I've tried it several times throughout my 10-year art career and just was never able to do a small scale stylized illustration like this. But I started a new art project. It was actually a commission that I started a little over a month ago that required me to use this style, and so I started studying, watching YouTube videos on how to draw stylized faces, how to draw faces from all different angles, and how to draw bodies using shapes. And so I really put my all into it, and I noticed the difference. I started improving, and I wanted to show you guys that process. So for this illustration, I was working on an oracle deck that someone commissioned for me. They wanted me to design their entire oracle deck. That's no longer happening, but I did get 9 cards finished before that ended, and this was going to be the brunch card. And actually every design that I did do for it is going to be in my upcoming coloring book, and I also have prints of I think 5 of them. I'll show you guys the other ones. But yeah, this was going to be the brunch card, and it's just a drawing of 3 different women, having brunch together, drinking mimosas, clearly having a good time. 3 friends, just out enjoying brunch. And so I wanted to give them all 3 very different looks and different expressions and everything like that. And I actually designed the middle girl after the person who commissioned the card from me, and the girl on the left is designed after me, and the girl on the right is also designed after me. A little bit two very, very different looks that I wore. Because they look like 2 different people. But yeah, so also this oracle deck was meant to be very diverse, all kinds of different races, skin tones, body types, genders, sexualities, etc. So I wanted to make sure that they were all different skin tones. I wanted them to all have different styles, and yeah, so I think I did a good job with that, especially with the rest of the cards that I did. You'll see more diversity. But yeah, so this was the hardest part, honestly, was just getting this sketch out. I'm using all brushes by Raw Sushi. Her name is Christine LaRae on YouTube. You might be familiar with her, but she's Raw Sushi on everything else. And these are her brushes that she designed and she uses for her stylized drawings and everything. So I used her raw sketch pencil for this sketch. And I also used her raw line art pencil. You're gonna see me do that. I'm sorry, not pencil, brush. Her raw line art brush for the black outline, and then for the shading I used her streamline brush, I think it's called. But yeah, so I had a hard time with this style, I think because I'm a more realistic artist. And for some reason, simple things just come harder to me. And it's crazy because it's like, as I was drawing this, especially when I was drawing the food, I was just amazed at like how simple and basic it looked, but you could still tell what it was, and it still looked really nice even without a ton of detail. And I just really started to appreciate it while I was doing it. I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. Like for some pancakes, I literally just drew like 5 floppy little discs. And then like it doesn't look like much right now, but when I start shading, it's like, oh, okay, those are clearly pancakes, and I didn't have to do too much. So but yeah, the hardest part for me, even as I worked on more illustrations after this, the hardest part for me is always like getting the angles of the face right. First of all, drawing the face, I use the Loomis method, which I learned from YouTube. And for some reason, like, even though I know how to do it, it's like every time I actually start doing it, I still fuck up. So I haven't mastered that yet. And I still have to redraw faces and redraw jaw lines and like everything a million times. But eventually I get it. And not even just like the angles of the face, but just drawing the perspective of everything correctly. I had to draw this illustration where somebody was sitting at a desk, and that's where like it really dawned on me that I cannot like get these perspectives right. I don't know, it's just so difficult for me. So I do a lot of erasing and redrawing, and it's cool though, you know, that's how you perfect everything, that's how you get better at it. I'm just happy that I came this far, because like I said before this attempt, I mean I could show you some things where I tried to do some stuff and it was just completely wrong, just all wrong. But so right now I'm using the raw line art brush in black, obviously, to outline everything. And I did use different sizes. Like I tend to use a thicker size on anything that's like on the very outside of the sketch, if that makes sense. So like around their bodies and like the table and stuff. And then once I start moving in and I'm shading like the clothing and like the facial features and the food on the table, I use a smaller size. But I don't know, I can't really tell the difference. Like I like when I see other people's art, you know, people who are actually masters at this kind of thing. When I look at their art and I can see like the thickness of the lines slowly getting smaller towards the edge, and it's like, I don't know, it doesn't really do that for me. Like I use less pressure and it still kind of just looks the same. So yeah, I have to like really try to change the sizes of the brush like as I'm working on it, and it's very tedious, so I don't like that part. But this part right here where I'm just shading all of the little base colors in and stuff, I love this so much. Like I know that you can literally outline something and then just fill it with color, but I literally don't do it that way just because I feel so relaxed shading all this stuff in. Like it just, I don't know, it just does something for me. And so yeah, that's like the most enjoyable part of it. And also after the sketching and the outlining is done, the shading is the easiest part for me. That's the most fun part, and I think it was the easiest thing to kind of like pick up on. So yeah, now I'm just putting down a base color, and then I'm gonna show you guys how I personally shade in my little stylized drawings. And this is just for this, you know, this project that I was shading things like this, but I also want to try some other stuff. I just couldn't do it with this because once I did one thing a certain way, I had to do everything else that way so that they would be, you know, uniform. But I do have, and this is just another that was the first illustration I worked on. I'll show you guys that at the end of the video, along with the other illustrations that I did after this one. But yeah, so there are other like shading techniques that I want to try with this style, and also like line art techniques. I want to try kind of using this sketch pencil as the line art rather than using such a solid bold black line. And believe it or not, I've never used the smudge button on my Procreate. I've never used it, and I witnessed somebody do that on Instagram the other day, and I'm like, okay, so that's how people be blending. Like, because when I blend with my oil paint, like it's easy to blend with the oil paint brush. I had no idea how people blend with like solid brushes like this. So seeing that kind of like changed my life, and I really want to try using it. So I am actually starting on my own oracle deck because since this one got canceled, I actually came up with my own idea for an oracle deck, and I still really wanted to design one. So when I do my oracle deck, I'm going to be trying out the different line art and different blending techniques that I just talked about, because I wanted to have like a softer look. And yeah, so you guys can just watch me shade for now. As you can see, what I did was I took whatever base color I used, and on the right side of that I used a shade that's slightly darker than it, and on the left side I'm going to use a shade that's slightly lighter than it. So it's like the right side is the shadows and the left side is the highlights. And that's how I did every illustration and every single element in this drawing. So you're going to see it on the girls, on their clothes, on their hair, on every piece of food, on the table. I just did it with every single thing that I drew in this image. And it shockingly actually made things look more, real and, just cool. Like, oh my God. I really, actually, I think the effect that it had on the toast that you see right there on the plate next to the eggs and bacon, it was really cool, because it made, I don't know, I felt like I was the animator of a cartoon when I was shading this stuff, because I'm like, damn, I really just snapped with this. Like, this could be a cartoon for real. Like, oh my God. But yeah. And so I'm gonna be quiet now and just let you guys watch me shade. So this is the finished product. I didn't do too much with the background. I tried to put some tables back there. Honestly, we just not gonna talk about that. But the focus of the card looks good. I would say most people have said this one is their favorite out of all the ones that I did. And I did make prints of my favorite ones. So there's a brunch card, there's a sneaky link card, there's a date night card, and there's a gamer girl card. And all of these are available on my Etsy as we speak. The link will be in the comments. And thank you for watching. Hope you liked it.